Hello and welcome back to Mark's Garden UK. I'm Mark and this is a new garden mirror which we've just bought off Etsy, and this mirror is going on the wall behind me in the exotic tropical garden, and the idea is that it will make a nice feature and it'll also add depth, because when you put mirrors in gardens and you can see through, they add depth and they make the space feel bigger. So in this video I'm going to show you how I'm going to fit this mirror on that wall behind me. So I'm going to talk through what I'm going to do first, then I'm going to show you me doing it, and then I'll show you the finished result. And hopefully, if I get the camera angle right, you'll be able to see the effect that having a garden mirror like this on a wall has in your garden. This one's got these kind of metal attachments on the front. It's a bit of a trompe l'oeil trick of the eye. It's supposed to look like a window that's partly open, and it does actually look like that. It's quite effective. And then we got this off Etsy, and I will put a link to the Etsy seller of this mirror in the description box below this video. But bear in mind, there might be limited stock, and if thousands of you go and buy it, the lady that sells them might take a while to supply them, so be patient if you want to buy them. But I will say to you this, we bought this off Etsy. The service we had was excellent, and I'm going to see if I'm going to get you a discount code, and if I can get you a discount code, you will find that in the box below this video. I'm not promising yet. Let me see what I can do. So that's the mirror. Now, the attachments on the back of this, a little circle with a straight bit above that you put the screw into. So the first thing you need to do is find the fittings. So on this plate here, I've got some raw plugs, and you drill a hole into the wall and you put the raw plug into it. That allows you to put a screw into brick. I've also got some screws. Now it's important that the head of the screw fits into that little hole on the fitment behind the picture, and I'll be showing you a close-up of that now whilst I'm talking. So once you've got your raw plug and your screw, you then need your drill. Now I've got two masonry drill bits here. I want to be precise with this because the two holes that it hangs on are exactly the one distance apart, and the screws therefore have got to match that distance precisely, because if they don't match, I won't be able to hang it up. So two bits, because one I will put a small hole in first, and then I will follow it up with a slightly bigger bit, and that will make sure that will help me to get precision where I drill the holes where this will hang up to. Now, the next thing I did was I took a baton, a piece of wood, and I offered it up to the top, and then I made marks with a Sharpie pen exactly where the two holes have got to be. So that gives me a guide now. I've got two holes on here, two pieces of Sharpie pencil mark there, and they will guide me exactly, precisely where the two holes on the wall have got to be. And I can't stress that this has got to be precision. The next thing I did was I found the center point. And then what we did, we took the box and we kind of played around with it on the wall and tried it in different spaces to see where we felt it should go, and we ended up coming down with a kind of around about there is where it's going to go. So we found the center of the baton and we put the center on the wall, and then the next thing I did was I got a spirit level on the baton, and then I go over to the wall and I stand on the border very carefully so that I don't stand on any of the precious plants that we've been cultivating. I offer the baton up, I put the centre where the centre needs to be, which is here. I put the spirit level on top, I level it, and I know that the height is about here, and then what I do is very carefully mark on the wall where the two marks have got to be. One on one side and one on the other. So that gave me a mark there and a mark there, and those two marks, which I then put a little arrow to so that I don't lose them, those two marks on the wall now in theory will correspond precisely with the two holes on the back of this picture, and you'll see whether it does or not, because you will see this being hung in a moment. Now this baton will serve two purposes. I'm going for a belt and braces approach. I'm actually going to hang the picture on those two screws, but then I'm going to put a baton underneath it. So I've got 2 more screws and 2 more roll plugs. I've also got a wood bit to drill a baton hole through here, sorry, a pilot hole through here so that the screw doesn't split the wood. And then after that's hung, I will put that up underneath it just to support the weight of it. So that's what we're going to do. So in summary, batten across the back, find the width of the 2 holes, find the position on the wall, offer the batten up, mark the wall, and the next thing we're going to do is put a drill bit in the drill, which will be the smaller masonry bit, and then we're going to drill 2 holes in the wall, put the raw plugs in, put the screws in, but not completely tight. I want them to protrude a little bit so that I can get them into these fittings on the back of the picture. Then we'll be putting the picture up. It's going to be as simple as and as quick as that, I hope. So let's go in with the small masonry bit. Now this is a drill with hammer attachment, so it's good for drilling into masonry. So I'll now go over to the wall. I'll find the mark, which is here. I will get the drill horizontal, and I'll start drilling. Now that hole has to be deeper than the roll plug, so I'll just check. Yes, it is deeper. So that's the small one, and that's a small hole. We need a bigger, wider diameter hole for these roll plugs. So I'm going to swap over to the bigger drill bit, and we're going to go in again into the same hole with a bigger drill bit. Slightly easier with the second drill bit because it's already got a hole to go into. Now let's get the roll plug and push it in. I've got a hammer ready just in case it doesn't go in smoothly, and we'll just push that there. Just gently tap that home. That's now ready to receive a screw. I'll go and do the second hole, second roll plug and second screw next. So now in theory, those 2 holes should marry up with these 2 marks on this batten. And I'm just going to test it. I'm doing a sense test now. So there's the 2 batten marks on the batten, there's one. And that does match quite nicely actually, yeah. Done a good job there. Yeah. So the next thing I can do is change my drill over to an electric screwdriver, put it onto the slower setting, put the drill bit in, and then I shall very gently put 2 screws into those raw plugs. I'm not going to screw them all the way in because I need it to protrude a little bit so that I can get the picture on. So let's give it a go. This slight protrusion will also help with this slight bump on the wall here. So in we go with a screw, nice and slowly. Wrong end of the drill screwdriver bit there. There we go. And one hammer, take it off hammer. And in that goes nicely and smoothly. There's another screw, and that can go in the other one. In a moment, we're going to be hanging the mirror on this, and that will be a 2-person job, so I'm going to ask for some assistance of the boss who's inside. So 2 holes, 2 raw plugs, 2 screws, 1 mirror, 2 holes on the mirror. Now let's see if we can get that on there without breaking the mirror. Here goes. So there we go, with a little bit of adjustment and manhandling, the mirror or faux window, because it does look just like a window on that brick wall, is attached. It's hanging on 2 screws. I'm just going to take a bit of a belt and braces approach now, just for my own peace of mind. I'm going to cut a piece of this wood and put a batten underneath the window. So what I'll be doing is I'll cut the wood. In fact, I'll do it while I'm talking to you. I'll measure a piece of wood at the top, the right width, I arrow in that direction, so that will be my baton. Take the pen top out my mouth, and then I've got a saw over here. There's the baton. A wood bit, a wood drill bit, slightly different to a masonry bit. And I shall just put 2 holes through it near the end. It doesn't have to be precise, but try and get them square to the piece of wood. There's 1. There's 2. And now what I'll do is I'll go through those with an even smaller masonry bit, and that will give me a guide as to where to put the raw plugs. I'll put this underneath, I'll offer it up underneath like this. Just gives it that little bit of extra supports just in case. And I shall drill through there just carefully. And through here without moving the wood. That gives me 2 marks on the wall to drill into, which I shall now go ahead and do. The smaller drill bit just gives you a bit more accuracy, and now you just follow it up with a bigger drill bit like this. In with 2 roll plugs. Now if you want to know what size screw and what size drill bit you use with the raw plugs, handily on these strips here there's a little hole which guides you. One's for the drill bit size and one's for the screw size. So you can offer up your maximum and minimum screw there, and you can offer up your drill bit there, which tells me it's a 7. Let's go in and put these on in the holes. I'm trying not to damage our precious Musa badge dew leaves here, which we've invested so much care into over the winter. We've just discovered there's 2 little pups underneath the back of this one, which is interesting. Now, making sure I've got it the right way round. That's about right, yeah, they're the right. Now we'll go in with 2 more screws. Slightly longer than the other ones because they've got to reach through the wood and the raw plug, so we'll go with a slightly longer screw, not too much longer though. Found 2 in my box of screws. Everyone should have a box of screws. Now I'll change over to the screwdriver bit and we shall get this baton on the wall, and then I shall give you several views of this from different areas of the garden and get these going. Well, they're in the wood and they're ready. Now we can put this up here. I would choose one of the hottest days of the year to do this. I've got my sun cream on. I should also have my hat on, but I've been here for about 45 minutes. I'll be all right. There's the mirror, 2 screws at the top, baton underneath. The baton will weather and blend in, and it will be covered up by these leaves from these cannas as they grow up, and we'll get that in depth in the garden. I'll give you some little views as we close the video so that you can have a look at it yourself. And there's a link, an Etsy link, in the description box below this video for that product. I'm not on any commission. I will try and get a discount code, but please be patient, because if hundreds of you go and order it from a small buyer, then you've got to be patient. So all in all, I'm really delighted. What do you think? Have a look.